Are you a high school dropout? Your child must be pitifully born into this situation. The people around me turned their gazes towards me. My name is Amy. I'm attending my first grade daughter Annie's class observation. As a newcomer without any mommy friends in this school, I'm shy and can't initiate conversations on my own. That's why when Heather, the lady next to me, started talking, I thought of her as an angel. However, I soon realized that she was a devil in disguise. Just as I told her my age, Heather showed her true colors. Hey, Amy, you look young, but how old are you? I'm 24 years old. What? You were 24? That means you gave birth to your daughter when you were only 18. That's quite bold. Yes? What happened to high school? Oh, I dropped out. What? You dropped out of high school and started raising a child? I can't believe it. Heather's voice was too loud, and the curious looks of the people around me were piercing. I'll never forget the scrutiny I received that day. As a parent of a child in the same age group as others, I am much younger. I've grown accustomed to being told that you should have graduated from high school numerous times upon revealing my age. I tried to explain the situation in a hurry, but Heather wouldn't let me get a word in edgewise. Did you drop out of high school? That's just sad. Your child is going to suffer, she sneered. Her angelic smile from earlier now a distant memory. It was the first time anyone had been so blatantly condescending to me, and I was both shocked and hurt, especially since everyone else was listening. While it's true that having a child after dropping out of high school might invite social condemnation, Heather had no right to meddle in my husband and my decision like that. After class, Heather quickly scurried off to gossip with her other mom friends, presumably talking badly about me. I had hoped to become friends with the other moms through Heather, but now that seemed unlikely. The thought of attending school events alone made me feel so sad that I hurried home with Annie, who had been happily chatting with her friends as if we were running away. That night, Amy talked to her husband Ricky about what happened that day when he came back from work. Listen, something happened today during the parent-teacher conference. One of the other moms made fun of me for dropping out of school and having a kid. Don't worry about what they think. It was our decision, and we know what's best for our family, Ricky replied. I know, but still, Amy said. Ricky always had a positive attitude, and he never let anything bring him down. Whenever Amy fell down, he was always there to pick her up. She knew that as long as she was with him, she would be happy. But even though she felt that way, she couldn't help but feel anxious in this new environment where she didn't know anyone. This was her first school event, and it didn't go as planned. She wanted to make friends with other moms who she could talk about raising children, as there were always so many things to worry about when it came to parenting. Heather's call came at just right the moment, though I regretted exchanging phone numbers with her before her rude remark. I answered with determination. Oh, Amy? Yes, speaking. I'm sorry for what I said earlier. I was just a little surprised by your age. I really shouldn't have said such a rude thing. Huh? Caught off guard by her sudden apology, I had been bracing myself for more insults. Although I was surprised by the sudden contact, Heather's apology increased my favorable impression of her just a little. Of course, I didn't completely eliminate my distrust of her, but since I would be seeing her again many times in the future, it would be better to let bygones be bygones. It's right. I was happy when you talked to me, Heather. Really? Well, I was wondering if you would like to join me and my other mom friends for a cafe outing next time. Huh? Can I come with you? Of course you can. Everyone was curious about you, and if anyone says anything weird, I'll protect you, so don't worry. Okay, I'll join. Please let me come with you. Perhaps if I talked to her properly, she might not be such a bad person after all. I had a faint hope and prepared for that tea party. On the day of when I arrived on time, 3 women were already waiting, but Heather seemed not have arrived yet. For some reason, the 3 of them looked a little awkward, but I said, "Hello, I'm Amy, who recently moved here. Thank you for inviting me today," and bowed. However, my voice must have been small because all 3 of them remained silent. A strange atmosphere began to flow, so I decided to wait quietly for Heather. A few minutes later, Heather appeared. Then the 3 of them exchanged greetings with Heather. They started with safe topics such as my hobbies and favorite books, but even then, those 3 remained silent. When Heather mentioned my work, I felt that the mood changed. "Amy, what kind of work do you do?" "I started working at the nearby supermarket. It's only for a short time. I guess someone who wants to have a child soon can't do much in terms of work. Working at the supermarket suits you." "Huh?" "As for me, I'm a career woman who works at this famous forest company, which has been talked about on TV. The president is a super handsome guy, and the company is very popular. I know about it after all my... In other words, I mean that we're not in the same league." "Huh?" Finally, I realized why Heather invited me to the moms group. She just wanted to ridicule me. That's why the other 3 moms were silent and uncomfortable during the tea party. Heather has no intention of apologizing. My judgment to attend a tea party, thinking that I might be able to get along with Heather and the other moms, was obviously wrong. My husband works for the same company. Your husband can only work for a subcontractor, right? He's a beast who forces his high school dropout wife to have children. What? Poor Annie. She was born to such parents. Children can't choose their parents. Stop it. I don't care what you say to me, but I will never allow you to insult my husband or daughter. I trembled with anger. My husband called a beast? And my daughter pitiable? It's not fair for a stranger who knows nothing of the circumstances to say such things. Please stop belittling us. Please don't have anything to do with me or my family from now on. That's all." Oh, my scary high school dropouts really don't have any manners, do they? You guys can't be like that too. My mom friend, who was told this, looked at Heather with a troubled expression. I felt the most anger I've ever felt in my 24 years of living, and left the cafe. I probably had a face like a demon. The young clerk was a little intimidated. "I can't use this store anymore. The pancakes were delicious though." Since that day, Heather's harassment began. I was blocked on Facebook, and rumors were spread not only among my mom friends, but also my daughter's school that my daughter was the result of an affair with a lover, or that I was having an affair with my daughter's friend's dad. The power of gossiping old ladies is incredible, and within a month, rumors about me had spread throughout the neighborhood. Even though I suffered from a high fever for a while, I couldn't give up for the sake of my daughter and managed to recover. However, finally a decisive event happened. One day, my daughter Annie came back crying. Her clothes were tattered and her knees had lots of scratches. I asked, "Annie, what happened?" She replied, "Monica-chan did it to me." I was surprised. Monica-chan was supposed to be Heather's daughter, and they were supposed to be very close. It was hard to imagine that they would have a fight that would result in this state. Annie continued, "She said she'd buy me my favorite toy if I fought with her. She said she likes being bullied." I asked, "Did Monica-chan really say that?" Annie replied, "Yes, and she kept pushing me over and over again." I was shocked to learn that Heather had been putting bad thoughts about me into her daughter's head. And even worse, she had been inciting her to harm Annie. A pure child like Annie would easily believe that. I was speechless. It is not a parent's job to involve children in adult matters. What kind of education did Heather's parents give her? I'm sorry, it's all my fault that things have come to this. I couldn't protect you, and I'm not fit to be a mother. I'm sorry. I hugged Annie tightly, feeling anger boiling up inside me. I had always been able to endure anything that was said to me because I was thinking of Annie. If I were to retaliate in some way, the anger might be directed towards Annie, so I thought I would endure it for Annie's sake. But that was in vain. When I looked next to me, my husband was angrier than I was, far more than I could have imagined from his unusual gentle expression. Let's do this, Amy. Okay. Immediately after that, we stormed Heather's house. Heather had been boasting to her mom friends about how great her house was in a great location. Everyone knew Heather's house. We drove for a few minutes and I, in a fit of rage, violently pressed the intercom button before my husband did. Oh, what did a low-educated couple want? Did you come to steal something? It's not what do you want. It's because of you that my daughter came home with serious injuries. Huh? Stop making baseless accusations. I just said to Monica that it's okay for her to do anything because you're such a worthy person who dropped out of high school and had a child. Don't be ridiculous. To incite a child like that, who's a real worthy person? Are you really fit to be a parent? Huh? What right do you have to preach to someone like me, who's a high-educated career woman? I can't stand the fact that my child goes to the same school as a kid raised by low-educated parents like you. Stupidly, it's contagious. It was useless to say anything to this person, so we left Heather's house feeling defeated. A little while later, my husband finished parking and joined us. Well, it seems my wife and daughter have been taken good care of, he said. Oh, you're her husband? Wait, why is the present here? Because I'm Amy's husband, the one you made fun of. How dare you insult our family like that? Oh, gosh. Yes, he was the president of Forest Corporation, a super handsome man who was also a frequent guest on TV. And he was my husband. Why are you here, Mr. President? Like I said earlier, because I'm Amy's husband. I can't believe the president is married to Amy. That's ridiculous. There's no way the president would marry a high school dropout. Even in this situation, she couldn't stop talking badly about me. I wonder what kind of upbringing would lead to this. I'd like to ask Heather's mother at least once. Well, I've heard a lot about you. Of course, it's all been negative, Heather says. But Amy, I heard you work at the supermarket. It's impossible for the president's wife to work at the supermarket, she continues. Oh, that's because Annie started going to elementary school, and I wanted to try working outside. I just wanted to have the experience, I reply. That's ridiculous. Heather is speechless. But then her husband suddenly starts laughing. Yes, I loved that laughing face of his. Haha, you, a career woman? Don't make me laugh. You are a useless employee who was on the brink of being fired after slacking off too much at work, he says. Please spare me from being fired, Heather replied. And it seems like you've been belittling my wife and daughter, he continues. No, it's not like that, Heather replied. Amy and Annie haven't done anything to be looked down upon by you, he says. But I think it's strange that you had children despite dropping out of high school, Heather says. Shut up. Amy married me to support my new business. You have no right to say anything about that. And you might think that we had Annie without planning, but she was born after we got married. We started dating when my husband was 20 and I was 15. He had started his current company while he was attending Harvard University, and I chose the path of marriage by dropping out of high school because I wanted to support him who was pursuing his dream. Of course, it was very difficult at first. My parents were naturally opposed to it and even said that they would never let us get married, but we got married against their will. Now, the company has grown into a major corporation, and even my parents have come to recognize my husband, who supports me so splendidly. They even have a drink together with him as a father figure. Then, we immediately gave birth to Annie after getting married. We struggled with parenting while being criticized behind our backs, but still managed to live happily as a family of 3. Of course, I'm proud of my life. I have no regrets about dropping out of high school. For my husband, who understands this well, insults towards me were unbearable. Amy's husband said, "You know what? Your behavior has been terrible. You've been slacking off at work and talking badly about others, and it's been a hot topic among the executives. Maybe it's time to fire you." "Please consider," Heather pleaded. "I was trying to be considerate because our daughters are classmates, but I've reached my limit. You're fired effective today." "But wait, sir, please don't fire me. I'll be in trouble if I lose this job." "Hold on a minute. Isn't Heather's husband a high earner? Even if Heather's were to get fired, she wouldn't have any financial problems, right? He's a Harvard graduate and a super elite, isn't he?" "Well, actually, is there something else going on?" "Okay, I'll tell you the truth. I've been boasting to everyone about our house and our wealth, but the truth is, I made a bad investment and I'm currently separated from my husband. And I'm not a Harvard graduate. I just inherited this house from my father. We are not rich at all." "Oh, I see. You're lying to us." "That's why I'm in trouble. Just the monthly credit card payments are a huge burden for me, so please don't fire me." "You're really something, you know that. You hurt others without a second thought, and now you expect sympathy when it's your turn? Give me a break." When I shouted, my husband smiled beside me and took out some documents from his bag. The documents were Heather's termination notice. It seems that Heather had been the top candidate for dismissal even before this incident, and most of the procedures had already been completed. "We won't retract this dismissal. Too bad for you," he said. "Also, I will never forgive you for hurting our child and spreading rumors about my wife all over town. Our company's excellent legal advisor will contact you soon. Be prepared. Well done," my husband said as he hugged my shoulders and walked away. "Wait a minute!" Heather's cry echoed hollow in the residential area at night, but we hurried home without a care. 2 months later, Heather disappeared from this town. Annie no longer comes back with injuries, and I'm no longer avoided by the other moms. Meanwhile, Heather's reputation is worse than ever, and it seems she cannot find work with another company in the same industry. Apparently, her husband had something to do with it. In the end, I ended up working part-time at the supermarket, where I used to make fun of Heather, earning compensation for us. Her separated husband filed for divorce, and Monica was taken by him. Furthermore, their prideful house was sold, and Heather lost everything she could boast about. By the way, Annie reconciled with Monica and now often comes to play at our house. The two of them often talk about love now. When he heard about it, my husband said, "I will never allow a boyfriend." But he has a kind personality. He will surely welcome my daughter's boyfriend with a smile. As for me, who was freed from Heather, I became pregnant with our second child. This time it's a boy. Our daughter is happy to become a big sister, and my husband is excited about having a future heir to his company. I am happy to have such a family. From now on, we will all work together to continue this happiness.